have the honor of sitting down with entertainment industry icon Nina Tassler, who has not only risen to the top of CBS, but she also has started her own production company, PatMa, and she's also written the best-selling book, What I Told My Daughter. Nina, welcome.
Thank you.
Was your journey to the top, not only to the top of CBS and then to create your own production company, was it what you had planned, or did it happen accidentally?
I think my path was kind of unplanned for a while. It was full of surprises. I came from the theater. I worked in the theater. I worked off Broadway in New York at the Roundabout Theater Company. It was the best learning experience of my life. I loved it. Moved to California and saw a side of the business I had never seen before. So then the very first job I got when I was in California, Los Angeles, was as a receptionist in a very small talent agency. So I was the receptionist, I was an assistant to a literary agent, and an assistant to a talent agent. And that was where I started. And then went to work at Warner Brothers, and then ultimately at CBS. But my husband used to say, it's like when an opportunity knocks, answer the door. And so I did have, I had some opportunities. I took advantage of them and really evaluated what I wanted to do long-term in my career. So I went from working in the theater to working in the agency business, to working in the studio, to ultimately working at the network and working my way up to chairperson of CBS Entertainment.
And then you're at the top, this big job. You had been there for 14 years or so. And then you decided to leave. How did you leave such a high-powered job after all of those years and after working your way to the top?
Well, the decision to leave was not easy. I thought about it long and hard, consulted my husband, consulted my family. What I really did was sort of take inventory and look back at the things I was really fortunate to be a part of, the decisions I was able to be a part of, the impact I was able to have, the people I got to work with, and then sort of look at overall, like when I first came to the network, we were in 4th place. When I left the network, we were in 1st place. And also we made some very big changes, not only to the primetime schedule, but the daytime schedule, to our summer programming. And the last sort of piece of the puzzle was the change in late night. And once I had done that, I sort of took a step back and said, you know what, it's really time to step aside and let somebody else, somebody younger, come in and sort of take the reins.
You made room for the next generation.
Yes.
And that is so important.
Yes.
And we talk about that a lot in mPower. How do we lift women up and how do we help support them so that we make room for the next generation? So you wrote a book.
Yes.
And it's What I Told My Daughter, but it's not you writing the whole book.
No.
It's actually a compilation of essays and experience from a whole wide range of really impressive and diverse people, from Ruth Bader Ginsburg to Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
So what inspired the book? And if you have a favorite story or something that really resonated with you, share it with us, please.
Well, first of all, it was personal. I have a daughter. She's now 25, but she was 13 when I came up with the idea. And very quickly, the experience happened. It was serendipity. I was literally at a volleyball tournament with her, and my daughter, I'm barely 5 feet. She's about the same height, so her volleyball career didn't go on too long. But it was at the end of a grueling tournament, and her team basically lost most of their games. And her final play, she had this miracle hit, and she turned and looked at me like I'm supposed to say something, and I panicked, like, what am I supposed to say? What do I do? But I said, I'm thinking they lost all their games, but they made it this far. And I just said to her, I said, you were I said, your teammates really depended on you. You know, you were really there for your team. And her face lit up, and I realized, oh my God, I said the right thing. And I thought, thank God. But I thought if only I'd had some sort of, you know, somebody other's experience to look to. If I could learn from other mothers who'd been in a similar situation, what to say in that moment, I thought that'd be fantastic. And I thought, I will go to the store and buy a book, or I will check a book out of the library. And when I realized such a book didn't exist at the time, and also no one is going to have the exact same life experience that I've had. And I didn't want a how-to. I didn't want platitudes. I didn't want someone telling me what I should do or say. I wanted to sort of glean my own, you know, my own narrative. And that was the birth of the idea. And I was fortunate enough to be working at CBS at the time, and went to Simon & Schuster, and they decided to publish the book. And I was in a unique position to reach out to, you know, incredibly accomplished, powerful mothers from all different walks of life, and really have them share their personal stories about their relationship with their daughters, their, you know, the conversations they've had. And I think, you know, that ultimately at the end of the day, there was, you know, the quickness and the speed with which people got back to me, and women said, I would like to contribute. And so I think one of my favorite essays is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who talks about, you know, her relationship with her husband, his partnership in helping raise their kids. He was the cook in the house. But one of the things she says in the essay, and has been known to say, which is, you know, women can have it all, just not at the same time. And those are words to live by. And we can, but just maybe not all at the same time.
We live it every day,
yes,
don't we? I have one final question, because you left CBS, but you didn't rest on your laurels. You have a new production company.
Yes.
And I believe one of the missions, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to really share stories from diverse perspectives, yes, diverse voices. Can you tell us a little bit about it, and
sure,
what you're hoping to accomplish as you bring these stories to life?
Right. Well, two things. One is definitely doing stories that are more female-centric, diverse, and about women who are, you know, as complicated characters. You know, we're used to wearing many different hats, so making sure that those characters are multifaceted. One of the projects we're doing is, and ironically talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, is called Sisters-in-Law, about the relationship between Sandra Day O'Connor and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And Michelle Pfeiffer is attached to play Sandra Day O'Connor. We're also doing the biography of Golda Meir, and Shira Haas, who starred in Unorthodox, is playing the young Golda. And so we're also working with Stacey Abrams, who ran for governor of Georgia, but Stacey is an accomplished author in her own right. So it really is about amplifying those kinds of stories, but equally as important, it is the young women that work at the company, really making sure that they get the nurturing, the support, the encouragement, that we can serve as mentors and leaders in helping them sort of grow their careers. So it's both the stories that we develop and the work environment that we create. And I think one of the things that you know, is really essential is really giving and creating, as you said, space and opportunity. And that's really at the heart of not only the production company, but I like to think everything I've tried to accomplish during the course of my life, which is creating opportunity and really giving people a chance to develop themselves as great creative executives.
Well, I know where to find your book, right? Bookstores, Amazon, what I told my daughter. When these stories come to life, where will I find them? There are so many choices. Will they be on a network? Will I stream them? Will I have to pay? You know?
Right. Well,
Where will I find them?
Well, what's interesting is we're across the board. So it'll be at the network, it'll be at Showtime, it'll be at Paramount Plus, it'll be at Netflix. So we have projects at HBO Max. I mean, that's the beauty of what we're doing. I mean, there are so many places to not only to promote content, but it does make it challenging in that how you brand yourself is really important. I think we're all in a consumer business, and really appealing to consumers, really making sure that your shows have an identity and that you create a reason for someone to watch you. Because as we well know, you can't be passive anymore in your television viewing choices. You have to, we were talking earlier before about the shows you like to watch, and it's, you're watching it in a place different from where the show originally aired, right? You're watching it on the CW where it used to be on CBS. So, I think it's really incumbent on all of ours as producers, as storytellers, and all of us as producers and storytellers. You have to create a sense of urgency and reason for the audience to seek out your show and watch it.
You're doing a great job, because I want to see what you talked about.
Right.
I really do. So you're going to have to let me know when and where it is. So thank you so much for spending time with us. Next time we talk, I want to talk about your best friend, Nina Davis. There are so many stories we could tell, but thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you.